All right, today for my sketchbook practice, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I've had this tiny Moleskin art notebook for months and I just haven't opened it. I've been waiting to use it and waiting to feel like I knew what I wanted to do with it. Some notebooks, sketchbooks, I just open and start with, and some I have this hesitation because I feel like they're waiting for a special project. Anyways, today I wanted to use my Posca Pens. I have been inspired by some artists lately with these mini sketchbooks that are using their Posca Pens, and I love my Posca Pens, but I tend to reserve them. Not even tend, I always in the past have reserved them for kind of special projects, like projects that are just for fun, where I want to paint on a pair of sandals, or I want to paint on a vase, or paint on something that just isn't typically paper. And I have found myself kind of hoarding my Posca Pens. And so I opened my sketchbook today, and I want to reserve this sketchbook to play with my pens. And so this was the first piece. Right off the bat, I learned something. I knew I wanted to do a background color. That's one of the beauties of working with Posca Pens, is that you can layer them on top. They have this wonderful matte finish, and they layer really well. So rather than having to paint the background in when I was done and go around all the elements, I knew I wanted to start with a painted background. But one of the things I did not take into account was that this red color I had used for another project and forgot about that, and the paint was almost all the way out of it. So I actually, while I was doing this, was thinking that I might even use my acrylic wash paint that has that same matte feeling and can be easily painted on top of, to paint the background rather than doing it with my markers. It was a pretty slow process, and I think I could just do it a lot faster if I just took my paintbrush and laid that background layer down and then painted on top of it. So I think the next layout that I do in my sketchbook, in this little sketchbook, will be like that. The other thing that I found I really loved was just this, like, I don't know, the richness of the paints was so satisfying. I think maybe next time I will plan my color palette out a little more, but it was really fun just to sit down and kind of see where it went. I truthfully had no game plan for this. It was all about play. And I don't know, it feels exciting. It feels like something new and different from my typical sketchbook practice, and I'm really looking forward to it. I also am really fighting the urge to immediately go out and buy more Posca Pens. You can see here I'm just finishing up with this bottom layer. I could have done these outlined leaves on top of the blue, but there's something that I like about that being below. And then I just added in these little dots to fill in the final space, and I'm really excited with how it turned out.